You know what's interesting about this is I've noticed you're pro lamb. Like you were these cute little lambs. It's like 'cause apparently the reason we love like baby animals is supposedly because it's like the same instinct we have towards babies. But I have the same thing.
Well, it's also sociopaths, you know.
Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux proper.
Crux, yeah. Back at you, man. We got Tom Murphy. Cheers, bro.
Yeah.
How's it going, man? Thanks for coming all the way out here, dude.
Yeah. That's good to be here.
Yeah, dude. I was talking about this last time when I had Stankto over, but we were just both on that did guest spots on that show at Dallas Comedy Club last weekend. So that was a lot of fun. It was good to see you there. Yeah. You were on the Late Show. But yeah, man, that was cool. And then I guess you were on some mushrooms.
Later in the night. Yeah, not for the show. I'm a consummate professional. So, limited it to Kentucky Deluxe and PBR pre-show.
Hell yeah.
I think that was always FDR's regiment before he do those fireside chats, you know.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. You drink some liquor out of a plastic bottle and then, a couple of beers that taste more like the can they come in than actual beer, you know.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But yeah, man, fucking Stankto was talking about it, and he was like, dude, I had to fucking leave because he took him there at the show. And it's packed.
That's what I did afterwards. Yeah,
it's fucking packed. So like, he was like, dude, it was too intense in there. I had to get out of there, which I understand because I haven't done anything including mushrooms for a very long time, but I've done them a shitload of times just back in the day. And I told him, dude, I could not imagine. I was like, I don't blame you because I could not imagine being in such a fucking intense environment on shrooms because people, dude, like having 2 or 3 people around in a living room is intense when you're on shrooms, especially if you're on like a big amount, let alone a fucking packed comedy club full of drunk motherfuckers. And drunk people, like when you're
especially
tripping,
when you're one of the drunk motherfuckers.
Exactly.
You know, realizing you have a drinking problem while the shrooms are hit. It's not a good,
Yeah, dude. And like, being, drunk people, like another thing I remember, like whenever you're tripping, drunk people, sorry, I forgot to fucking start the timer. There we go.
Hey.
Drunk people seem like so primitive when you're tripping, bro. Like when you're on acid or mushrooms, not so much ecstasy from what I remember, but definitely like mushrooms. Fucking drunk people are like Neanderthals, dude. They're like fucking so primitive, and they like fucking they're like disgusting. They're like and they're sloppy and loud, and they smell like what they've been drinking. So like I remember when I was tripping, dude, like there was me and my buddy, we split and ate the mushrooms back in the day, and our other friend was like, he didn't do any kind of psychedelics, so he was just sitting there drinking beers while we were tripping. And then like once we started to trip, he seemed like a fucking caveman, dude, because he was just sitting there drinking, getting more and more drunk. He was rude and fucking smelled like beer, you know what I mean? I'm like, God, I was thinking to myself, like tripping out, like this guy's a fucking savage, dude. Like just sitting there. And at least that's been my experience. Other people I've told that to agree with me too, that drunk people seem primitive.
Because I mean, for one thing, I'm usually drinking anytime I do any kind of anything. But,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. When I've been visited by my Celtic ancestors, when I get far enough out on the island with it, they're a little smelly. I'll give you that. A little smelly, but I don't want to denigrate the drunk community.
Yeah, dude. Right.
Well, yeah. Savages.
Nothing's wrong with drinking for sure. Just that's the perception that's like what would happen. Yeah, when you get out there, when you get under the influence of those psychedelics. Dude.
I've had it where if people start talking about I don't know, anything career-minded, like if you're hanging out with comedians and then someone starts talking about like you need to expand your brand and things like that. It's like what? Yeah, it's I get more horrified in that way, but
yeah.
Although sober, I get pretty freaked out when someone starts talking to me about a job, you know.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
But it's they're all right. Yeah, I had a pretty okay time with it. It was I definitely spent most of the night after I took them outside just chain smoking and
chain smoking. If you smoke cigarettes, bro, and you're on some mushrooms, you will be smoking a shitload of cigarettes for sure.
Well, it's weird. Some people, it's like it'll get them to quit sometimes. I've known people like that where
they're like, I need to
have
clean
some
my life. I need
psychedelic
to purify my body. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen for sure.
I've never had that though. Usually it's like at the end of the night when I'm coming down, it's usually like I'm just looking at, or I'll even buy. I've noticed when I'm on psychedelics, if I end up having to buy cigarettes, I usually don't smoke Camels. I usually smoke like Luckies or L&Ms or some of the lower end brands. But then when I'm on mushrooms, it's like I'll see Camels, and that was the first cigarettes I ever smoked, and then just that Camel on the box looks like your friend. Oh, he's gonna carry me through. It's like start feeling like I'm Mary and Joseph in the desert, and this thing's gonna help me. And it usually works. And then then at the end of the night, I'm just looking at it like I'm never gonna quit these. This is lovely.
Dude, I remember like so. Did you ever do like the fucking thing where you take a bunch of cough medicine to get the fucking DXM trip going?
Yes, I spent a number of years looking like this in high school. So yeah, quite a bit.
That's funny. That's funny, dude. So like I did that back in high school too. Like that's when I had these friends that like I changed schools, and like I had a bunch of new friends at that school, and they were like, "Hey man, like we take these, like we steal them from the drugstore, and we take a shitload of them, and we trip out."
Was it the triple C's or
triple C's, the core C's?
Those were the ones that were killing people because they had the other active ingredients in them. So if you took too much,
really?
Yeah, because it wasn't the DXM, which is the part that gets
it was
you
the
high.
other shit.
Yeah, it was. I think it's got like Tylenol or something else in it.
And if you take too much, that's like people take a bottle
I think
of
now
aspirin.
opioids might have passed it up, but for a while, I think that was the number one drug overdose in the country. It's just because there's people who pop Tylenol all day, and then it builds up, and
yeah.
especially older people, it'll build up and then wreck your liver, and
Okay. Yeah, so that makes sense, man, because I mean, people commit suicide by taking a bottle of aspirin and a bottle of wine and shit. But yeah, so we took that, right? That was my introduction to the triple C shit, right? For the DXM. So I took that, and it was like, it was it's like dirty. It's like sloppy, right? But I was working at McDonald's at the time because I was 15. So I was working at McDonald's. I went and did a shift the next day, and it was still like the residual effects.
I had that once, except it was a Pizza Hut, but yeah.
Yeah. So I had this big DXM trip. We walked around the neighborhood all night, fucking fucked out of our minds. And then the residual effects, I went home, barely went to sleep. And then I had to go do my like weekend shift at McDonald's the next day. And I was sitting there like getting fries out because I worked the register. So I'd have to serve up fries and get people their orders and bring the bag of food. And I was sitting there like, this is trash, like Americans, and we just eat this trash, man, and we just eat this horrible food, and look at this horrible,
You become
greasy,
very
fattening
judgmental
thing.
on the psychedelics, I've noticed.
Dude, very judgmental. These drunks and these fucking fat fucking McDonald's eating Americans. I'm so much better than all these pieces of shit. You're right, dude. So I started doing that when I was working right at McDonald's, and I'm thinking like, this is so horrible. I need to stop eating this food. But as soon as all that fucking shit and those wore off and the thoughts went away, I was fucking eating it like a couple hours later.
I don't know how if you work at McDonald's, like I worked at Pizza Hut for years, and they'd give you a free
as a
pizza
teenager
every day. Yeah.
And
I get that you do have to clarify when a guy's looking like me. It's a teenager, right?
This was not.
Now I deliver from pizza places, but it's rising up in the world.
You're like, man, that was a long time ago. I mean, that was back in August.
But but they would give us free pizza every day, and I was at McDonald's. Just those fries are so glorious, like and might be the best branding I think in all of history is the Golden Arches.
Yeah, big time.
Because they don't just look like the French fries. They look like the best McDonald's French fries, which are those ones that have a little bit of give to them that are like at the bottom of the bag.
Right.
Where they got, they're almost like bendy.
Yeah.
That, every time I see them, it's just...
yeah, man, I agree with you because when I was at McDonald's, I got fucking super like, dude, I got so many more fucking zits from being around the grease and eating the grease. They let you just free reign. So like with what you wanted to eat. So I would make my own burgers. You know what I mean? I'd get back there like on my break or at the end of a shift if it was closing shift on the weekend. And I just stack up fucking burgers and cheese. And yeah, dude, it's a fucking horrible environment to be around because you eat the food and you're around it all day. Like, dude, I'll eat fast food and indulge in it every now and then, like whatever, I don't care. But working in it, as you know from working at Pizza Hut, that's a whole different fucking ballgame because you're around it like 24/7, like you're immersed in it. You know what I mean? So Pizza Hut, and then they have the wings too. So I guess you kind of got a little bit of fry grease going through the air, right? Because don't they have to fry up wings every now and then?
No,
Or is it
because they do
microwaved?
them. They do them through the oven. It's like they come like pre-fried or like frozen, and then and then
That's
you run
right.
through the oven. And the smell wasn't. Although I always found that, like, I had a friend who he lived right next to a McDonald's, his apartment, and he was always bitching about the smell. And to me, it's just you just have this free air freshener that they don't even sell at the
Yeah.
I would love for everything to sell like.
Well, you know that shit's fake,
so-
right? Isn't it? Or I shouldn't say but I've heard that shit's fake. Like the smell that all the fast food restaurants pump out. That's not
Oh,
the
that's
food
not
that's
the real.
cooking.
They pump it out from.
They pump it out. It's like they have like chemicals that they craft, like they pay a lot of money to get, like in labs to get done to smell like how you think the food should be. So it wafts out and attracts people into the restaurant.
They need to start bottling.
That's what I've heard.
that.
I don't know if I haven't obviously checked to see if that's true, but I did hear that. And there was a book called Fast Food Nation that I read back in the day.
Did they make a movie out of that? I think,
They did. They
with,
did, in fact.
Greg Kinnear and
I don't remember who was in it, but they did make
I
a
think I saw
movie,
that.
and they had like the
It was a good
Mexicans
movie,
that
if I
were working in the slaughterhouse and all that shit.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
It was. I think Fez from that '70s show was in it too.
Oh, was he?
Wilmer
Dude, that was
Valderrama.
so long ago. But
He was pretty
you're right.
good in it. I think if I remember right, it was a real good movie. It was,
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those. It had a weird scene in the middle of it that I didn't understand what the fuck it was supposed to tell me about. Where Greg Kinnear just all of a sudden is watching porn in a hotel room, and then it never comes back. It's just like this guy watches porn when his wife's not around.
Then that would just, they didn't talk
I don't know
about
if
it
it's
again.
character development or what, but yeah,
That's
Or
weird.
they're trying to make him relatable. I don't know.
They just left it alone. That's fucking weird, dude. But yeah, man. So they were talking about that in that book. They're like, yeah, this isn't real. And they fucking push all this shit out there to make it seem better than it is and all that shit. But they're talking about Subway in that book too, man. Like how Subway doesn't give a fuck about like the franchisees, and like they'll put a Subway right across the street from another Subway and just let them battle it out to see whichever one wins, and whoever wins, and whoever loses like sucks for them. That book was that was a good book, dude. It was pretty enlightening. I
I
still
didn't
eat
know
there.
that when you see that's what's going on there. Anytime you see like a Starbucks across the road from a Starbucks,
That's a little
there's
different
like
because Starbucks, I think, by and large, is corporately controlled. I don't think a lot of them are franchised. I think
Oh,
very
okay.
few of them are. Or like you have to be a big ass player. Like you have to get a bunch of them. I don't think it's not like McDonald's or like Subway where you can get one. You know what I mean, and become a partner. But I think the Starbucks thing is that the Starbucks on one side of the street was so fucking busy they had to put one across the street, and that one is also now fucking busy. Like I think that's more what's going on.
Yeah, I deliver from there all the time, and I don't understand when I look at the. I don't know, I guess I'm a really cheap person, but when I look at and it's coffee. It's like it'll be like $4 for a cup of coffee sometimes.
Well, dude, so I completely 100% agree with you. I will get Starbucks from time to time when I'm in a pinch. I drink coffee from home, but there was a period of time where I would go and get it. It was part of my morning routine. But all I would do was get because all I drink is black coffee. So I don't get like a double half a frappuccino, fucking Fragalicious.
Yeah, because you're a man who understands how dark.
Because I'm a fucking
unforgiving this world
American
is.
man,
Yeah.
bro, and I pay my taxes and I drink my coffee black.
Now, drinking black coffee. That's what I'm drinking right now. Is you're accepting that the world is bleak and that you don't deserve any milk or sugar. It's like it all ends in death and.
Yeah,
So you
that's it.
chug black coffee so that your eyes can be more wide open when you're waiting for grim death to take hold.
So you can accept the fact that you're one day closer to the fucking grave.
Yeah. I could see you also grew up Catholic. Hey.
Dude, I didn't. I just fucking, I have a dark fucking, I just did a lot of heroin and I'm a fucking fucked up addict alcoholic. I just happen to be sober.
Yeah.
Dude, when I did the podcast, when Shiva did an early episode of the pod,
I love Shiva, yeah.
all we did was talk about heroin for an hour. That's all we did.
I've never even done heroin. When I'm around Shiva, sometimes that's all we talk about. Like, hey, Tom, you know anything about heroin? No, but go on. And yeah, man, well, it's really good. And yeah.
It's like he's getting paid sponsorships, royalties, bro. He's talking about it so much.
I never shut the fuck up about my hometown. So it's like, we're all homesick.
What's your hometown?
He's missing the needle, and I'm missing Dubuque, Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like it a lot?
Yeah, it's a great place. Beautiful town on the Mississippi River. It's like right across from Wisconsin, Illinois. Like you look left, it's Wisconsin. You look right, it's Illinois. And I'm trying to think if we got anything notable. Oh, the movie Fist, starring Sylvester Stallone, was filmed there.
Okay.
My grandmother witnessed Sylvester Stallone ogling a friend of hers.
Oh shit.
So, yeah, that's That's the only brush the Murphy family's had with the entertainment industry, other than my illustrious open mic career. So,
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone wanted to fuck one of Pat's friends. Yeah, no, looked right at her bosom.
Is that really what they said? That's what your family
like
said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
They
Well,
don't think they have an accent. It's funny. The Buchers, it's like my cousins who stayed up there, they'll be like, they'll have like, 70 beers in them, and it'll be like, the thing is, we don't talk different up here. You guys in the South, there's an accent, but there's no.
Yeah. It's weird, right? No one from the place, if you're only around the place where you're from and everybody talks like you and everybody's from there, then no one thinks that they sound any different than anywhere else. That's like everywhere, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't realize they have a Southern accent until they maybe go somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, well, you met Wayne. Wayne doesn't think he has a Southern accent. And
Okay.
And I had to tell him it's like...
You're like, yeah, you do.
You have a roadie for Leonard Skinner accent. Like, it's...
Like, you don't just have a Southern accent, bro. You have
an upsetting accent.
Like a painfully Southern accent.
You have a threatening accent. You have an accent that only sounds at home when it's storming the Capitol.
But hey, man, you know what? We're in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and I love this place.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You know, man, that's just the lay of the land, bro. Some people are going to have accents, and you got to deal with that shit, and if you don't like it...
Well, variety accents,
get the
too.
fuck
Like,
out.
I like
yeah, there is a variety.
Like
There's a variety, man. So, like, now that you've been... What do you have, like, if you got booked and they're like, hey, man, we need you to do as long as a set as you can do with actual material, what do you have right now?
If I was able to string it all together, I'd think a fair amount. The longest I've ever done is 45 minutes, but it was a VFW show, though, so about 50% of that was just me and the audience fucking with each other.
Okay.
It was a VFW show. I just started talking about how, really is held up great is Jane Fonda. That's a real beauty, and then just kind of, they're real fun if you've never done one. It's
Was that the one that you did with Cody? With Cody Swindell?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I love
he was
Cody.
He was complimenting you a lot with that one, man, because he told me how he did that gig. I think he did like 10 or something like that, or 15 or something. I can't remember, but he told me about that gig, and all he told me pretty much was you and how well you did. He was like, dude, fucking Tom had like total control of that room. He was like, had command of the fucking audience attention. He was talking you up. He was speaking very highly of it. He was like, dude, he had the fucking audience in the palm of his hand. Some shit like that.
He didn't tell me that. The fuck. But,
well, hey, bro.
He did good too. He had he opened it up. And,
cool. Hell yeah.
He fucked up though. He didn't tell him he was a veteran. So I was like, fucking pander when you
do that.
I lied and said I was a veteran when I got up there.
Stolen valor.
Yeah,
bro.
I was like, if you're not gonna leave your valor laying on the table, I'm gonna. That's not stolen valor. That's
if you're not going to use your valor, I'm going to fucking use it.
Yeah, it's like if your wallet's not chained up, that's not stealing. It's like, I'm going to take this valor if it's right here.
You didn't fucking put a lock on your bike, bro. I'm taking it.
And then Garvey Marcus and Quentin J were both on that too. And
okay,
they both murdered.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, no, it was a great lineup.
So that was you, but you were doing some crowd work and all that stuff.
Oh, and Zach Collins who put it together, and then he hosted. He did great. It was a great time.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's fucking awesome. But like, okay, so you did some crowd work and stuff, right? You were saying. So let's say they were like, hey, we need you to do a set. How long can you do with just prepared material? Like, what do you think you have?
It's one of those where like you probably always have a lot less than you think you do.
Right, totally.
If I was able to stack it all together, and I'm super disorganized, so it would be stressful if I was approached with this. But I think I could maybe do 45 or an hour, but it'd be sloppy as shit. It would be
yeah.
It would be half the set would just me being going just leaning on goofy voice.
Yeah.
And,
so you could do it. So that means you could probably do like a super solid 30-minute set then, right?
20, I'm definitely very comfortable. I've done 20 for a number of times. 30, I think I've done a couple times, and that'd probably. That would depend on how awake I was that day. Or
that's still fucking awesome, man. That's still strong. That's still great.
No, thanks. Well, this is just me pulling this out of my ass. I did just a good, and 30's 30. I might be eating shit for 30 minutes. I don't know, but it's
the guest spot that you did on Saturday. Obviously, I announced it, kicked off the show, and you came on. So I saw your set, obviously, because you came on. I brought you on with the God mic. So
Which is the word for it when you were on the mic, because I didn't even recognize your voice. That you became like the white Morgan
like,
Freeman.
it's just
and
some guy that works here, bro.
Yeah, and this was pre-mushrooms, but I guess maybe they were kicking in already, because I was like, I felt like it was the presence
dude.
of a god.
How much did Eddie pay to get Morgan Freeman out here? But yeah, anyway, that stuff that you did, the set that you did on Saturday, was that new stuff you're fucking with, or was that a lot of stuff that you already had in the holster, or was it a mix of both?
It was a combination, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I had some stuff, because I was trying to do a sober month for January, which, as we've already established, when I was getting up to that night, it did not pan out.
It already crashed and burned.
Yeah, it's it's fucking 11 days in January, right? That's yeah. But so I had some material related to that, and then I'm trying to think what else I did. I had another one that I've been doing for a longer time, but it's one of those, I don't know, when it's a shorter set like that, a lot of times I'll go up there with like a couple of bits in mind, but depending on how the audience is reacting to what thing, sometimes, because it's like 5 minutes, it's like sometimes you'll just go with something that the audience is giving you, or jump off to something else. Or,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious because some of it was stuff that I'd heard, and then some of it was stuff that I hadn't heard. Yeah, man, that was an interesting. That later crowd was like, it's like the classic fucking thing. Like I talked about this before, where it's like you hear all these like veteran comics, super like the pro headliners always talk about, where like the early show is usually better than the late show most of the time, because the early show people are more coherent, they're more excited, they're less drunk, they're less tired, and then the late show is like they're way more drunk, they're way more tired, they're way more ornery.
I certainly was. Yeah.
Like they're way more rough around the edges.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that at that spot. And that was fucking great though, bro, because that was my first weekend club show spot of any kind that I've ever had.
Awesome,
so that was fucking great, bro.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking night. I had an awesome time, and I was super thankful for the opportunity. That was amazing. Shout out to Eddie Trevino again, man. The fucking classified comedy show, man. He's blowing it up. He did it at LG Taps on Greenville 3 times, and it got big to the point where he got to move it to Dallas Comedy Club, and he did 2 sold out shows. You know what I mean? So
they're putting on a lot of great people in the
great comics.
Glad with they gave Tony Compi on his show too now that he's doing a crowd work show.
Yeah, this Thursday I think is the first one, right?
He's done one already, I think, and I know that one went great.
Oh, okay.
And then I think I'm on the one next month, he told me.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool, bro.
Tony, fucking phenomenal guy.
Yeah, I don't know him as well as you do, I'm sure. I've met him a few different times, and then I filmed his set for him last Saturday when he did the guest spot after you, and gave it to him, and he was like, "Hey man, you didn't have to do that." I'm like, "Well, the phone was already recording, so it's not like I was fucking you know what I mean? It's not like I was it's not
cool.
Super out of my way, you know what I mean?"
Yeah, no,
so,
that's always cool whenever somebody does that for you, though. It's, I've had people do that before.
Yeah, man. But so you said you had like an argument or a fight or some kind of verbal
I had a bit of a
homeless guy?
conversation with a homeless gentleman earlier, yeah.
What happened?
So I was waiting on, I was going to drop off the keys at the office of the apartments I just moved out of. And which, by the way, I don't understand how they're not in the office ever. I don't understand how any apartment ever does anything, like how it's like I called them and I told them I was going to be there and this is when I'm going to be, and then nobody, and you know what, I'm going to move on because this angle is dying.
It's all good.
These apartment offices, you know how poorly staffed. No, you're just broke, Tom. We have plenty of people in our apartment.
No, you're right, bro. Dude, I did the fucking apartment deposit, move in, move out, notice this, move in here. I did all that shit forever, bro. Like, I'm so glad to be a homeowner now because, like, fucking, I did the apartment thing. I get what you're saying, dude.
No, that's the only reason I accepted being on this podcast. I'm going to try to squat here the minute we're done.
You're like, dude, I'm not leaving.
This is my room now.
Yeah,
okay?
This is now mine, dude. This is now Murphy Manor. But yeah, dude, no, I get it, dude. Apartments, some of those offices, bro, are fucking pains in the ass, bro. Seriously.
But then, so then I had gotten there and they weren't there, so I decided I lived right near CC's Pizza, and they got this great deal going now. I don't know if you're looking for sponsors, but
you're like, hey,
$3.99 all you can eat if you dine in.
Oh shit!
I guess obviously if you dine in, they're not going to be like, yeah, bring your truck around.
The Pizza Hut.
This is Cece's.
Oh, Cece's,
and
duh.
it's
Cece's
Monday
is
through
cool, bro.
Wednesday. They're doing it.
Dude, I love it, man. I love.
Oh, it's great. All I eat is
love
the
that
cheese
shit.
bread. The cheese bread is
I think that's the white trash in us that really loves that spot, dude. I think we just gravitate towards it. Like, dude, the first thing I did.
I thought I was moving up. I'm used to Little Caesars. I was like, who's Cece's?
Little Caesars, yeah. I mean, but as far as dine-in, bro, and the pizza, the buffet is the thing.
Oh, yeah,
all
it's
you can
phenomenal.
eat. I mean, that's something that Little Caesars cannot offer you.
Oh yeah, no.
The funny thing about Little Caesars, just like Cece's, they don't say it's good. They just
hot.
say, yeah, hot and ready. We didn't say it was good, bro. We said it's hot and it's ready for you. Okay, you can fucking decide if you want to eat it or not, but it's here.
Yeah, no, it's like a chow master out of like an old prison movie. Something they would say of like in Cool Hand Luke of like it's hot and it's ready.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like Little Caesars, dude. It's hot and it's ready, but fucking, it's up to you if you want to eat it. It's at
Sometimes
your own
it's not
risk.
even hot. They got to turn on that. They got to turn off that part of the neon sign. They're like, it's been out for a while, but it's here.
Sometimes it's just ready. It's ready. It's here.
Sometimes they leave it lying outside. Like they just close up and then they're like, we know you don't have any fucking. Oh, that actually is. Little Caesars used to. I used to do this when I was younger. Some of them, if you would go around, because they'd have the the pizzas and stuff that are always ready there. If no one gets those and none of the staff wants them, when they're taking them out to the dumpster, a lot of times they'll just give them to you if you're there at closing time. So that's friends who we used to go and hang out at the Little
big
Caesars.
time, bro. Big time. There was a local pizza spot when I was in high school where we used to literally just fucking go in the dumpster after close. After we they closed it. They weren't open super late. They were open till like 10 or 11. So we would fucking go and just peep that dumpster, bro. And we get breadsticks, pizzas, like everything, just the mistakes, the no-show pickup orders, just whatever. I think even sometimes we called and like did the no-show thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
well,
adding some
and then,
like larceny and fraud to your.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. All kinds of fast food fucking fraud. But dude, or I guess that wasn't fast food, but you get the point. I worked at this sandwich spot, this sub sandwich spot. It was like a local sandwich place, and I was doing my fucking dumbass like stoner friends, which I was one of them too. It just I wasn't there.
Yeah, they're out there somewhere else talking about you and saying this dumbass
stoner stoner friend of mine, dude. So I was working keep in mind, this is why this was dumb. I was working a Saturday, middle of the day, sub shift at this sub spot, right? So I worked from like, fucking 11 in the morning until like 4 in the afternoon or some shit on a Saturday, right? So I'm not opening the place up and there's a manager there. I'm just a fucking teenage kid working there. I don't run the place. And then I'm leaving way before the place closes, right? So my dumb friends ordered like 4 big ass fucking subs, like cheesesteak and grilled chicken, all this fucking expensive shit, as far as the sub menu went. And it's just sitting there. I don't realize it's for them. They called in and they ordered all these. And then at the end, like the shit is sitting there for like an hour and then 2 hours. And the manager that I worked for was like, who the hell would order all this food and just not come and get it? And then someone calls for me at that point, and they're like, "Hey, the phone's for you." And I'm like, "Someone's calling me here?" They're like, "Hey, man, are you gonna take those sandwiches home with you? We ordered them so no one would pick them up, so you could take them." And it's like, that's not how it works, dude. This is the middle of the day. It's not like the place is closing.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking idiots. Like, no, the manager's not just gonna let me take this shit home.
Yeah.
Hey, can I take like $50 worth of food home since no one picked it up in the middle of the day? They're just gonna fucking throw it away or keep it there or whatever. I don't know. But it was just weird logic. It was stoner logic. Like, oh, well, naturally he can just take it since no one picked it up. You know what I mean?
It was like when the Al Qaeda B team bungled that first attempt on the World Trade Center, where they...
the 94 one or whatever?
Yeah.
The one that, like, where they tried it with a car or some shit?
And they're like, no, you got to fly. You
gotta fly.
You got to do it classy.
Yeah. Do you think that like at terrorist like meetings and stuff and different terrorist groups that happen now? Because like did you see that fucking Turning Point, I think it was called, the 9/11 documentary that came out back in September, that like it was like 4 parts. It's actually really good, dude, and it's pretty objective. They cover it from all different sides of the coin. It's not super liberal, it's not super conservative. It's pretty comprehensive, like what they cover. I liked it a lot. I think it's worth a watch. Anyway, they talk about in the later episode, like kind of the repercussions and obviously how that changed the world. And it was this huge trajectory, and it's still the repercussions of all that shit and the actions that we took after are still happening now. Like, that's why you got Al Qaeda, you got, all right, and the ISIS and all that shit. All that shit came from like going to fucking Iraq, going to all that shit. And they talk about how there were like at that time when 9/11 happened, there were maybe like 2, 3, maybe 4 big terrorist sects in the world, at that time. And now there's like thousands, or hundreds of large ones, throughout the world. And it's because of all that stuff splintering off and the actions that we took, basically, that cause it. Anyway, so now that there's so many, you look at it kind of like comedy. Like in the beginning, there was like this group of people that did it, and now there's like hundreds of thousands of people trying to do it.
Like terrorists out there.
Bunch of people that are like, Richard Pryor, man, he really changed the game, and fucking it all started with this guy, and then this guy tore it wide open. Then there was Sam Kidd. Do you think that's the same thing with terrorists that are like, fucking, man, Bin Laden really had it nailed, dude? I mean, he went, hey, these planes are used for transportation. We're going to turn them around and use them back on them. I mean, that guy was an innovator.
It's a pretty...
you don't see that anymore. Now it's all a bunch of... it's oversaturated now, this terrorist game.
Well, then the guy who figured out the car thing, too, where they started doing cars. They started killing people with cars.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. That's the... I imagine there was just a bunch of Al-Qaeda guys or ISIS guys sitting around playing Grand Theft Auto, and then they were just like, wait a minute. This is... Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I'm anti-terrorism.
This is an anti-terrorist podcast, bro, by the way.
I think the IRA is a gray area, but...
But yeah, who the fuck? That's like some crazy shit. Yeah, they did fuck that up. But God, we really went off onto a dirt road over here into the fucking woods now. Our car is like fucking smashed up against a tree. We were on a nice interstate going down smooth, and now here we are. But
our car just crashed right in front of the Oklahoma City Federal Building.
Yeah, dude. I think Timothy McVeigh, he's like the fucking Eminem of terrorists, dude. Because he's like the one white guy amongst all these fucking...
Oh, the Irish. We had a bunch back in the day.
That's true.
Actually,
That's
I was
true.
on the terror watch list
actually
after
tons
9/11.
of white terrorists. Were you? Why?
And I had a couple other relatives who were, and we looked into it, and it was just old IRA guys who were still wanted. That my uncle Pat was on it, and then I was on it, and they did the whole 9, like searching you and everything. I don't know. There was one time I went through security, and I had put my watch on my ankle the night before because it glowed in the dark, and it was keeping me awake. And then I went through security, and the watch kept setting off the metal detector. And I didn't realize that's what it was. And then, then they just saw a watch on my ankle.
Damn.
And I was wearing a Sinn Féin ski cap, which is a political party that has some ties to the... So it's... it was not a good move. But,
Fuck, dude.
Ended up working out.
Are you still on that list, you think?
No, apparently not. Last time I flew, because they had like a thing you could call in, and then, they ask you like, "Are you a terrorist?" And you're like, "No." And they're like, "Really?" And you're like, "No." And then they're like, "Okay." And then, then they take you off.
Interesting, bro.
I don't know. If my name was Mohammed, it might have been more difficult. I don't know if there's.
It might have been a different story.
Not trying to get into racial politics, but
might have been a different story.
Yeah, I think the Irish. We've been floating in America for a little while now. So.
All right, so I got some stuff. Wait, did we even fucking... we didn't even talk about... What did you get into? What did you do with it?
Yeah, so what happened
We talked about apartments and then fucking Little Caesars and then terrorists.
Yeah, so I was walking to Cece's Pizza, and then this guy who... I don't know for sure, but I believe was homeless, flagged me down and was initially asking me for money, and I told him I didn't have any cash, and then he was like... by the way, I was about to lie to you, too, and say, and I didn't have any, I had cash, Crux. I didn't have a lot. I had enough for the $4 all-you-can-eat pizza deal at Cece's, but I told him I didn't have cash, but then he was asking if he could use my phone for directions, and so then I was like, oh, yeah, sure, and then he was like, oh, you can hold on to it, man, and then I started going through it, and then I was like, so what's the address? And he was like, well, what, you're not going to give it to me? And he had already said, like, you can hold on. And I was like, well, that's, what, you just told me not to get. And he was like, well, what, you fucking disrespectful motherfucker. You know that? You're fucking disrespectful. I was like, dude, I can fuck off. What do you want me to do here? I'm just trying to, And it's, well, when someone starts getting angry at you because you won't give them then it was like, all right, well, I guess I probably shouldn't hand you my phone. So,
yeah. Well,
and he was a big enough guy, like, and I'm just a small guy. And I mean, I've crossed to the other side of the street when I see like dwarves coming down. It's not a strong man. So then, he just started yelling at me, and then I just gave him the best Midwest nice goodbye. Just, like, all right, sir, well, you take care of yourself. And
bro, see, that's the thing. So like being like from LA and having like a lot of different homeless, like, dude, I fucking like came from LA and I did like a bunch of drugs. I was like homeless by choice for a little while. I've
known some of those. Yeah.
In San Francisco back in the day. Like, so I did a lot of drugs over there, like, and all that shit. And then I've been around LA forever. So homeless people is like something I'm very familiar with. But like, what's really crazy is I went to Austin and like did the fucking like went down there. I saw you one of those times. Like I was going down there every week, like just to hang out, do open mics. I went to Kill Tony, went to Creek in the Cave and all that shit. And you know, like 6th Street, everybody's always talking about, oh, there's so many homeless. There's so many homeless down here. Dude, I went down there 6, 7, 8 times, like, you know, every week in a row. I didn't see a lot of homeless. And I do understand that was at a point in time last summer where they took that camping, they made the camping law. You can't do that shit. And so I think that took a lot of it away, to be fair. But either way, dude, I'm used to it. So I was hanging out at that bar next to Vulcan, you know, like, and we were on the patio and I had a Red Bull. And this one of the homeless dudes comes up to me and he goes like, hey man, can you go get me a cup of water? And I'm like, what? And he's like, fucking, can you go get me a cup of water? Like, go over there. They had like a big thing of free water, you know, like you go over there. There was like 50 feet away, bro. And I'm sitting here talking to people. I'm about to go into Kill Tony. And he's like, can you go get me a cup of water? I'm like, no. Like, no, dude. And look, I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy or anything. I'm not trying to sound like, but dude, my point is just like you're talking about with the guy where you're trying to be nice and then he kind of takes kindness for weakness. Yeah. Like, that's what I've learned, like, dude, with a lot of people that just come up and demand shit from you.
Oh, when they demand it, I'm always like immediately. But like this guy was being polite at first.
And then he slipped into it. I got you.
And so
that's a little different.
When I think it was a confidence push, it's like, I've never been homeless or anything, but I lived a strange life. You know?
Yeah. You've seen some shit. You've been around some people. You've been exposed to a lane of people.
I often smell like shit.
I often smell like shit.
Yeah, but I've been mistaken as homeless before too. That's really.
I'm not homeless, but I do get mistaken for.
I had a lady come up to me. I was sitting outside I think a Walgreens or something. My buddy was in there like getting chips or something.
Yeah.
And then and I was kind of dressed like this, and then like had a backpack. And then this lady came up and offered if I wanted to come have dinner with her family. She was like, "Are you okay, sir? Did you want to?" And I always wanted to take her up on it just to learn like what the nicest person on earth's dining room looks like.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, no, I'm not homeless. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not fucking you. You're an amazing
dude, that's not, you don't have a bit about that?
No.
You need to make one, dude. That'd be a good fucking bit, dude.
For a little while, that was my sign off where I'd get off. I'd be like, oh, thank you. You guys have been great. And if you see me on the corner at Skillman and 635, please be generous.
So it's a variation of it. But that'd be so funny, dude, like to fucking have a chick who thought you were homeless. Yeah. You're like, you're right. Wait, you realize like, why are you being so nice? Now I see why you're being so nice. I'm not a bum. But anyway, so this dude was like, hey, can you go get me a thing of water? Go get me a thing of water. And I'm like, no. You know what I mean? And he's like, can I have that can I have your drink? I'm like, no. And then like he moved on and the dude that was next to me was like from here, you know, like he was from like the Fort Worth area. And he was like, dude, that was like pretty rough. Not saying I was rough. He was saying that was like confrontational. Like that guy was confrontational. And I was like, to me, it's like, cause my experience with all that shit, I'm just like, nah, dude, like that wasn't confrontational. Like fucking, that was just normal. Like you have to fucking like put your foot down. And I'm not trying to say like, look, this is how you got to treat these pieces of trash. I'm just saying when people come at you aggressively like that, and sometimes homeless people do that, like, and I've been in that world. I've lived in that world briefly. And like, I'm not trying to sound like, oh, I've been like led the grittiest, roughest life, because I haven't by far, but I've been just like you. I've been around. I've seen some shit. I've been exposed to different lifestyles. I've been exposed to different lanes of very like, you know, rough around the edges people. I've seen some shit. And you have to pick your battles. Because if there's a guy who's like, hey, man, like, do you mind, like, you know, can you spare $1 tonight? Can you spare some change? Dude, if I have something on me immediately and it doesn't take me too long, absolutely, man, I'll fucking throw something someone's way.
Cigarettes just because I don't like
cigarettes.
I don't like advertising that I have money.
Right.
To anybody walking around. Like,
that's a good point.
It's not even about the guy.
Depends on the environment you're in.
Right. Right.
If you're by yourself and it's like 1 a.m. and you're on a street, like, you know, that could be like shady or whatever, and people could see that you have money.
Right.
Absolutely. That's smart to not
No, I've
do
done
that.
it before. It's like if I'm in fucking Plano and there's happens to be a homeless guy there for some reason, and he's like, hey, can I? It's like, all right, you know, if there's a gap within eye shot, I'm not worried about, you know.
Yeah, exactly right.
My,
If you get, but if they get to the point and they ask you, and I have something, sure, man, I'll fucking help someone out. Like, as long as it's not a huge, you know, whatever. Like, just being honest, like, it's not a big inconvenience to me. But dude, the thing that I can't stand when people do the pitch, like a homeless guy pitch, is the whole fucking like, hey man, what's your name? My name is, you know, fucking Ted. And hey, look, man, I've been coming, like, nah, fuck you, bro. I am going somewhere. I'm not here to listen to your fucking blog about like how you fucking got to the. And a lot of time, dude, I find I've seen this firsthand back when I was like exposed to that whole homeless world. I think a lot of people that do the whole like speech are completely full of shit. Yeah. The ones who like are real and like need help, I feel like they just ask for help. They just ask for some shit.
Well, it's like any other group. It's like you got, I mean, there's, it's like, there's, you know, shitty people in every single collection of humanity. And so it's like, you know, there are homeless people, and it's understandable. It's like, I get, if I was a homeless guy, I could get how you'd be like resentful, and you might be like, you know what, I should try to take this guy's money if I can.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's like, all right, well, that's not.
I think you're going to get
pure
more
luck that I'm in my position and you're in that position, but it's like I still don't want to have my phone stolen.
Yeah, and I think also it's like I feel like you're going to get more if you just get to the point. Like, dude, there was this guy, I could tell this was a fucking, because like I said, dude, I've seen some shit. I've been around a little bit, and there was a guy, I was coming from fucking Hyenas, Dallas, like open mic. This was a few weeks ago. And, you know, it's late as fuck. I have to drive. As you can see where I live quite a bit of ways away from there, right? So it's a bit of a drive, and it's late already. And I got to get gas, right? It's because I'm on E, so I got to get gas. I pull into this gas station, and I'm just filling up my tank. I'm trying to get back in my fucking truck as soon as I can. And there's this dude that comes up to me and does the whole thing where he's got his car in the background and shit, and I can tell he's doing the whole thing where like something's wrong with my car, I need help, kind of thing. Probably something wasn't wrong, or it wasn't as bad as he was leading on, but he's trying to see if he can get some cash from people. And if people are going to fall for it, more power to him, you know what I mean? But he started to do this whole thing where he was like, hey, he did the exact same thing. Like, my name is so-and-so, what's yours? And I'm like, what's up, man? What's going on? You know what I mean? And then he's like, well, you see, I got a really blown gasket, or whatever the fuck he said was wrong with his car. You know, and I was just like, dude, no, like, just, I'm not, it's like 1 a.m. I'm not going to listen to this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to get involved with you. Like, you know, and then I just got back in the truck, and I'm sure he was like, that like when I drove away, like, fucking piece of shit. And it's like, dude, fuck you. If that happened to me, this is another reason why I knew he was kind of full of shit. Cause it's like, dude, if that happened to me, like, I wouldn't talk to a person. I would like hit up roadside assistance. You know what I mean? Like, I'd contact my cell phone provider. I'd contact like whatever through my car insurance that I had, you know, and then.
Well, you might not have had insurance.
Well, then you shouldn't be
no,
fucking
I get what
driving.
you're saying. I don't think anybody's inside. But like, I'm someone, like, if I'm in the right circumstance, like I had it happen recently. I knew the guy was running a scam. Like, I literally saw him try to do it in the, what's it called? Quick Change, or like Paper Moon. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
It's where they try to do the confidence push at the 7-Eleven, where he came in with he had like
the short change shit.
Short change,
yeah.
And
that happened to me. A dude did that to me when I was in a teenager, fucking working.
Yeah. Oh, I get how it would
I got
happen.
hustled.
It's like,
I was more power
like
to that
trying
guy.
to be polite. Oh yeah, so
he was good too. He was good. He was like, nah, man, actually give me this much. Nah, man, actually give me this. He was good.
Yeah. But so I saw a guy who was he was trying to do that in the 7-Eleven while I was buying cigarettes. And then my mom was visiting. She was out in the car, and then and the guy was like shaking, and he looked like he was withdrawing off or something. And so then when I went outside, I was like, "Hey man, here's a couple." And it's like, and I knew he was trying to run a scam, but I was like, "All right, it still looks like he's in a rough spot." And then the area we were, it's just like I didn't feel like I was in any kind of danger at all. So I was like, "All right, I'll give the guy." Then I don't know, I gave him like $5 or something. Yeah, but then I got in the car, and my mom got all. She's like, what if he had taken your wallet? What if he... And then I just had to yell at her. She's a very sweet woman, but, you know, she's a sweet lady from the Midwest. And so I just said, listen, Mom, there's not a lot of street smarts in this car, but what little there is not in the passenger seat.
Have you seen, remember the movie Falling Down? with Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Dude, isn't that such a great scene? It's exactly what we're fucking talking about.
Yeah, it's been a while.
When the guy comes up to him in the park, right? And he's like, "Hey man, I just ran out of gas. Is there any way you could give me a couple bucks?" And like Michael Douglas is like, "Where's your car?" And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Where's your car? You said it's out of gas. Where's your car? How far is it from here?" And then he's like, "Well, that's a hell of a way to treat a vet, man." And he's like, "Vietnam? You must have been 12 years old. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "No, the Gulf." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, what outfit? Where'd you serve?" Like he just fucking keeps checking him and checking him, and he's like, "Just give me some money, dude. Just give me some fucking money." It was so good. It was so good.
Well, it's funny too. One of the, I think I've observed, it seems like a lot of the most successful panhandlers I've seen are the people who make it funny.
Oh
Where,
yeah,
like, they'll have.
"Hey man, I'm going to buy crack with this."
Yeah, that kind of.
I love that. I fucking love that. I'm going to get drunk with the money you give me. Can
I
you
would
give
bet
me
you
a
in some
dollar?
cases you even have people with signs that are like need beer, and
Need
weed,
drugs.
please help.
Yeah.
I would bet you in some cases it's not even for that. In some cases they just know like, oh, this is a better pitch than
Maybe.
I want a sandwich.
But
So-
whether it's a pitch to be funny and they actually need stuff, or whether they literally are going to buy that shit with it, I am way more likely to give those people money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or I knew there was a lady who she was kind of like known locally, and I used to live in Midland, Texas, out in West Texas.
Yeah.
And there was a lady who used to panhandle out there who she only had one leg, and her sign said, "Please help, I'm on my last leg." And, it was,
Fuck.
and she was like, every time I went by,
Damn.
I'd give her some cash, and I would see everybody. It was almost like she was like a toll operator. Like that's
Yeah,
how much
yeah.
money she was getting as people were coming through, because it's like, hey, good on you, man. Like,
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I'm going to throw some stuff at you. I got this new section that I'm fucking with called Mean to Kids. And so
We
I'm gonna-
already did mean to homeless. Now it's
not mean to kids, and then we're gonna be mean to the disabled,
battered
and we're gonna be
women,
mean to
mean to-
yes, just mean to everybody who is defenseless that we can pick on as straight white males. So no man, but mean to kids. And I'm a parent, so I'm allowed to do this. So if you don't think it's good, fuck off. So anyway, I'm going to show you this first clip. We're going to do a couple clips, and then I got a couple other things for you. So this is the first one that I'll show you. What do you think about this kid? Oh, fuck. Is it not? Hold on a second. Having some technical difficulties. This fucking thing. Okay. I think it stopped because I wasn't doing anything with the phone. Sorry, folks. I got to fucking orchestrate all this shit myself. Let me fucking redo this. There we go. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that's the thing. Anytime you see me fucking with my phone while we're doing this, it's just because I have to orchestrate all this shit through my phone. I'm not checking for updates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you're just listening, there was a kid that's riding this like nice primo motorized fucking car, like a little kid's toy motorized car. He's got a helmet on, and he gets stuck because he's doing a wheelie trying to show off like an asshole.
I already know how you feel about this
And it
kid.
gets
Jesus.
stuck. So he fucking is freaking out because he got stuck. Anyway, what do you think about this kid?
No, it's. I feel like too the way you're commenting on the quality of the toy car there. That it's like you're turning your class resentment in both directions. You're like, look at this fucking rich kid with his fucking motorized fucking. Now he's leaning back and yeah. it's
I'm
like,
very jealous of this kid's toy car, as you can see.
You want to see?
It's
you want to see
bullshit.
a fucking?
I want it.
You want to see that guy who came up to you at 1 a.m. do the quick change on this kid's dad, so he can't buy him another one of these.
Exactly,
fucking,
dude. I mean, the audacity of this fucking kid, bro. Like,
I don't know. I feel for him. I feel like that's a lot of times how I feel when I'm driving delivery. You know, it's where you're blocking other people on the road or whatever, and it's just because you're a moron and you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know anything like that where it's open air. I rode on a motorcycle once. It was like my cousin had, and then I've ridden on like a dirt bike one, like on the and that it's unsettling when the air just. If I'm in a Camry smoking a cigarette out the window, that's
yeah, but I
handle
doubt.
the air hitting me.
But I doubt in your car you're popping wheelies with your car,
That's
trying
true.
to show off like an asshole, and then you get stuck, and now all of a sudden it backfires, and now you need help.
That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is I'm not doing wheelies in my car like a young child, you know?
Exactly.
He's acting like a little kid. He's a little kid.
He needs to stop being a little kid, bro. He's acting like a fucking little kid right now.
He's got to grow up. It's I empathize with the kid. You know, I do think the helmet's a little much.
Yeah,
That might tell you why he's so terrified doing a wheelie on in his own driveway.
So what do you think?
That.
What do you think in this case? Bad kid or bad parenting?
I'd say excessive parenting. Like that's a
Helicopter parent.
Yeah, or I have a friend who he's got a real wacky dad, where his dad will like get drunk and start yelling at the neighbor kids, like start yelling like, "You kids know about Easy, you know about fucking," just like going into just crazy diatribes. And then once I was like, yeah, I love your dad, but like, is he gonna like yell at the kids like that? He was like, no, he's doing a service to the fucking neighborhood. They gotta learn crazy people exist. He's like, I learned because I lived with that fuck. And he's like, they don't fucking. He's like, I know that kid. He's sheltered. He needs this.
Yeah.
That kid looks like he could use a couple of like bipolar schizoaffective people in his life to teach him that the wheelie is not the scariest thing in the world. Right?
Yeah.
There's other things out there.
Yeah, dude. I mean, man up, dude. Man the fuck up is what I say.
Yeah. No, this is the only time I get to feel like a man is when I'm making fun of like a 4-year-old.
That's
you know?
that's what I do, bro. I mean, that's how I feel fulfilled as a person, is when I get to pick on people that cannot defend themselves against me.
Yeah, fucking A.
And I think that's what makes me very unique. No, all right. So here's the next one. What do you think about this? Here's the next kid. If you're listening, it's this little kid, adorable kid. He's trying to come up to these cute little lambs in this little pen with hay and shit, and they're running away from him when he's trying to come up to them.
You know what's interesting about this is I've noticed you're pro lamb. Like you were these cute little lambs. It's like, 'cause apparently the reason we love like baby animals is supposedly because it's like the same instinct we have towards babies. But I have the same thing.
Well, it's also sociopaths, you know. They sympathize more with
they
animals and babies. Yeah. At the end of Sopranos, where they're like sociopaths, antisocial personalities typically gravitate towards. They have sympathy for animals, they're not people.
Yeah, which I have like was always weird to me is that's supposed to be because of the baby thing, that like puppies remind us of babies, and that's why we love puppies. But I love the baby animals and the animals more than I love the babies, I feel like. The baby, I have to look at that and be like, it's kind of like a dog, I guess I can. But, yeah, that was all right. I mean, that kid seemed, you know what we might have just learned here is it's better to grow up on a farm than in the suburbs. You know, he's like, he's enjoying himself. He's running around with the goats.
Well, that's one way to look at it. But the other way to look at it is like, bro, that's how horrible you are. These lambs want nothing to do with your ass, bro. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to look at you. No, he's an adorable kid. It's hard to be mean to that clip, honestly.
You want to hear something depressing?
It's pretty adorable. Yeah.
Especially if you empathize with animals.
I love it.
Sorry, I just got to mute my phone here.
That's okay.
I was thinking. Yeah, my Aunt Donna.
Depress me.
My Aunt Donna, when she retired, phenomenal lady, and she ended up retiring on a farm. Her and her husband bought a farm and got some goats and stuff. And so they had all these goats, and apparently this is what goats do. They pick one goat that is like the lowest goat, and then they just ostracize him. They just completely shun him. So there's this goat that my Aunt Donna had that literally every single member of his own species he ever encountered in his entire life from the day he was born wanted to have fucking nothing to do with him.
Wow.
Yeah. I think they would like kick him if he tried to come over.
I think a lot of animals, because I know, I think chickens do that too. Like they'll fucking, the hens at least, like the female, like they'll reject the fucking, they'll find one that's like weak and they'll just fuck with it. It's so weird, right? Because you think like, oh, humans, we're so horrible, we're terrible people. It's like, bro, that's not just us. That's a lot of that shit. That's just the animal portion of us. There are a lot of fucking types of animals that do that. You know what I mean? Mammal and non, that are just fucking ruthless.
Yeah, and none of them fucking know how to invent pianos, you know?
Yeah, dude. So I think we're doing pretty okay.
Yeah, we've got the sociopathy.
Let's see them create a podcast where they shit on defenseless children, bro. They can't do that.
Yeah, no, these fucking chickens, they only abuse children like one at a time, you know? Like they don't have, they can't shoot themselves into cyberspace, and you know, it's like we can abuse a kid like 3 continents away right now.
Yeah.
That sounded weird. That sounded a little But
I won't clip that one out. Don't worry. Okay, so those are those fucking kids. Now let's move on.
Those fucking kids.
Let's move on to a little bit more entertaining set of clips here that I got for you. Let me show you. Let me throw the first one at you, and we'll talk about it.
Whoa.
All right, so if you're just listening, bro, this is like instant karma for this girl. She was like part of what she thought was this collaborative team of people that were like the thing where the people would roll up to a house and steal an Amazon package off the front porch. But she didn't realize that she wasn't part of she was not as part of as solid as a team as she thought, because the motherfucker that was driving the car, once she threw the stolen package in, they drove off and left her ass. So she fucking got abandoned, and the lady who lived there that saw her package getting stolen off her porch runs over to the girl that stole it and got abandoned by her team of other criminals and gets dragged out of the street by this fucking lady, dude.
You know what happened there is her driver, the getaway car, was that fucking whiny kid from the clip 2 minutes ago.
That's what happens, bro. Yeah, dude, you're right. Dude, that is genius, dude. See, that's the problem. That kid popping that fucking wheelie like a cocky asshole and getting stuck. This is what happens. You become a Amazon package stealer that abandons your team.
Well, that is did you ever know anyone like that who it's like they grew up like middle or like upper middle class, and then at some point get it in their heads that like I'm gonna be a thief or
big time. Isn't it so crazy when it's someone that's like fucking like a rich kid or like an upper middle class?
It's a really funny. I think it comes from a place
that
of guilt.
happens so much.
I don't know. They feel it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird reaction.
Appearances are different from how things actually are, though, right? So I think typically what the answer, because I knew people like that. I went to school like that. I knew people in my 20s like that. I think that comes from appearances are very different from how things are in the home. Like, because you think like, big nice home, goes to private school, big nice family, has a lot of money, nice car. That's like the exterior, but like probably the parents work all the time. They were neglecting. The dad probably wasn't there for them. They don't show love. So therefore they get hardened and they do these things. Because you go like on the outside, you're like, well, this is such a nice kid from a nice home. It's like, well, they might have been not really loved or cared for. And that's why they...
No, I've known like some of the happiest like best families I've known like come from like trailer parks or projects, and then
their parents paid attention. Their parents were there,
and then I've known the opposite where it's
you got tons of money,
in a gated community, but he's effectively like in a cage when he's at home, and his parents are sociopaths.
Yeah, I think the love and attention, regardless of what your socioeconomic position is, I think that's the important thing. You could be a rich kid or you could be super poor. If your parents were there for you and like were attentive and taught you some shit, you're going to probably be a pretty decent person. Regardless of how much money you might have had or not had. Right.
Or sometimes it's not even like the parents are like bad parents. I mean, I guess it's a form of bad parent, but that it's like it's not that they're like horrible to the kids, but that the kids are just like furniture in their lives, where they're just like, this is Darian.
They're like property.
He's in the lacrosse team, and then like, there's no actual.
It's like a model of car you're showing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you're not really paying attention to what the kid wants.
You see marriages like that too sometimes. Where it's like, it's like, oh, okay, so there's no like neither of you has ever giggled at the other one's fart. Like you're just like on this weird sort of status autopilot thing.
I'm in one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No. It's great. It's great stuff. But hey, what I think is so great about this though, what if it was like they fucking like it's like a boyfriend girlfriend team that did this package stealing thing, and they got in a fight at fucking CC's or something like right before, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna leave this bitch, and he fucking just oh, you want to have the last word? Here's your last word. Yeah, who knows, bro?
You want to open up the relationship? Well, I'm going to lock the car doors. All right, how do you like that?
Yeah, dude.
It's
fucking crazy, right? That would
I always
suck.
wonder that. I didn't know that was a thing that was going on in a major way. I always wonder when I see the Amazon packages.
The package is getting stolen.
I would think that's happening a lot.
Oh,
I always
big
find
time!
It weird
It's
when
a
I
huge
see
thing. It's a huge problem, and that's why and now I think there's a lot. The counteraction to that was the cheap availability of all the Ring doorbells and the cameras and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we have them in our house. Now, we have them. Like
I deliver
everybody
food,
has them.
and it's like in all neighborhoods too. It's like from pour on up to Highland Park.
I think that
everybody's got
fucking
it.
and I think that affects like you think about like maybe us like when we were little kids like versus like the kids now that are like trying to be troublemakers, try to test the waters, like toilet papering people's houses, egging people's houses, smashing mailboxes, maybe like leaving a fucking bag with a dump in it on the porch. Those things I feel like are probably way less common now because all the kids coming up now know that everybody has a Ring doorbell. Like everybody has cameras all over their house. It's cheap for you to put camera. If you want to spend a small amount of money considering the technology you get, you can wire up your every inch of your fucking house. Like it's insane what you can do now.
Well,
so like
just
kids know that
too. It's like you know that you
can
could
watch
be on
everything.
surveillance at any time.
Anytime.
Like,
anytime. You just have to act. I always act as if, dude. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Although I don't know, we were just talking about mushrooms and heroin while we're intentionally on camera.
Hey man, that's fine because that's stuff that
Now I made peace with like if comedy doesn't work out, I will die in a hole. And
hey man, well the good news is even if it does work out, you can still die in a hole. So it's a win-win.
I do it on stage all the time.
All right, so next one. Let's check this one out. This was my personal favorite of this batch. Okay, so if you're just listening to that, this is a family coming home back to their house, and they're just like we were talking about. Their doorbell camera is filming them coming home. Normal thing. They unlock the door, with their little keypad, and then all of a sudden, this fucking dude comes up behind them, kind of out of the blue, to rob them. But the fucking dad, like the husband or whoever he is, he fucking just like knee jerks, like kung fu style, turns around.
I couldn't tell if it was the guy firing.
I had to watch it a couple times too when I first discovered it, but yeah, that's what happens. So you think the dude coming up on them thought he was gonna like rob them. And that dude that was coming home, the good guy in this situation, he's part of his family. He turns around like a fucking laser beam and shoots at this fucking guy that's about to rob him like fucking like a ninja. And the fucking guy that was going to rob him runs off. That's fucking crazy, dude. That guy had like, maybe he like, what we couldn't see maybe was like when they were getting out of the car and getting all their shit out of it, he might've seen that guy hanging out in the cut. You know what I mean? And been like, is this guy going to try to do something? Oh, you do that
where you kind of take anytime you're walking in or out of a place and you kind of do the...
Yeah. Well, and this is him talking about it.
I packed that thing too, so you come around this way, you will get caught.
I keep that thing on me too. So that's him talking about that. Like, he's like, dude, I fucking keep it on me.
Well, it's one of those... I was actually just talking about this with a friend of mine that... you almost want something like that to happen in front of your girl because it's like that is like a relationship that is guaranteed to last forever now. It's like that is cemented of like it doesn't matter how much like we don't like the same Netflix shows or whatever the fuck bullshit was about to break up. It's like, the sex is still going to be amazing.
Or if it's like a new thing, like if it was just like a new relationship, you're getting laid that night.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
No, I was talking about it with my buddy before I got here because he was telling, and he fucked it up because he was 17 and he didn't know what the hell how to talk to women and stuff. But he was doing he was a census worker at the time where you go around and canvass.
Yeah.
And he was walking with a lady, and then these two pit bulls came running out and just started barking at him. And then he just grew up around dogs and stuff like that. So then he just ran over and started screaming at the pit bulls. You get the fuck out of here, you fucking... And then scared him off. And then he said he still hasn't had a woman look at him like this again. That she just turned and was like, "Where are you from? Who are you?"
Yeah.
And then he said he just turned into his schlubby 17-year-old self. He's like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah. It was an environment that it was something he was comfortable with, so he knew how to act.
No, he has a pit bull now, so he's
but yeah, with this dude, I'll tell you what. Don't fucking agree to a fucking 10 paces duel with this motherfucker, dude. He'll fucking get you, dude. That guy's hardcore. Yeah. Damn. And it's cool. Like, this is something like, I mean, as fucking crazy and like unbelievably violent and horrible that would be to, thank God I haven't been a part of that kind of thing coming home. Like, that's horrific, especially if you got a family, if you got kids. But the cool thing about this,
unless one of them's doing those fucking wheelies.
Unless they're doing those fucking wheelies like an ungrateful. It's horror. This is the positive part of this. I don't want to say it's a positive event, but the positive thing about it, at least, is that it's the good guy. Like This
No, it's
dude,
nice to see those every now and then. You know,
this guy was gonna rob these people, and that guy just turned around and went, "No way!" You know what I mean? Like, not today.
Yeah.
So that's so fucking
And then he had that
crazy.
Quentin Tarantino directed doorbell, which it's a beautiful.
Yeah, it was a good angle. Good angle, good lighting. Had a good gaffer.
And it looked like the guy didn't die too that he was shooting at. So that's,
I think he just ran away.
I prefer to have like that. I like the PG-13 version.
Yeah.
Because then if the guy's bleeding out on the street, then it makes it it's like, all right.
Yeah. That would be so fucking crazy. But at least he fucking, you know.
No, yeah. We got to
him
protect
away.
the family. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, and also in those situations, sometimes people are like, oh, what? Because like someone's going to take your TV. You're going to say, well, you don't know. It's like, it could be. I mean, there's sociopaths out there.
So, but yeah, anybody who's listening, anybody who's watching, send me if you have any clips of like anything that you want me to talk about or review or whatever. Send them to cruxcrawford@gmail.com. Send me those clips, and I'll go over them and stuff. Anything that you can find, because obviously the internet's a big place. I can't come up and discover everything funny or everything fucked up or entertaining. So feel free to shoot me that shit. But yeah, man, we're over the hour. But you got any shows coming up you want to plug? Where are you going to be? What are you doing?
Yeah, actually, let me plug. Sorry, I'm just a disorganized fuck here. I got it's at Chocolate Secrets this upcoming Sunday on a show. I know Stank Toe's on it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then Rebecca Mouth of the South. Do you know her?
I think so.
She's from, I think, Louisiana. But yeah, she's coming out for it. And then I'm just doing a guest spot. I'm doing like 3 minutes or something like that. And then next show after that's going to be in Missouri. So
yeah, we're on that together.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, with Hakeem?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think I'm the one driving. I don't know if we're taking multiple cars.
I think everybody's driving. I think a bunch of people are driving.
Okay.
That's what you got coming up so far, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like next couple
and
weeks.
then for me, that's exactly a good lead-in point, because then February 4th, that's going to be in fucking Rolla, Missouri at the Cotton Patch. Way the fuck out there. Hopefully we survive. Hopefully we don't get stranded. Hopefully we don't get lost. We'll have our phones. But yeah, so February 4th, Cotton Patch, way the fuck out, Rolla, Missouri. Then the night after that, I got a show over in Burleson, Texas, boy, just south of Fort Worth at MacGyver's and MacGyver's Bar. So I'm gonna be there February 5th, doing a set. So those are the things that I got coming up. But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now that you see the full setup, I'll have you back sometime in the future. We'll do this again.
I didn't notice a Ring doorbell outside too, so I'm going to be back in 5 minutes to yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. All right, man. Well, hey, Crux Nation, keep listening. Crux, yeah.
Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Let me hear you say Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah. Crux, yeah podcast.
Crux Crawford.